Today's lecture is about the production and cost function. Now we are moving towards the market structure, so we should know some definitions and terminologies like what is production function, what is marginal product, diminishing marginal product. Production function is the relationship between quantity of inputs used to make a good and the quantity of output of that good. Marginal product is the increase in output that arise from an additional unit of input. Diminishing marginal product is the quantity whereby the marginal product, okay, of an input decline as the quantity of input increase. So what does it mean by these definitions? So for example, we have zero labor, okay, then what should be the output from zero labor? Surely zero, okay. So if we have one labor, if it contribute and produce 50 quantity of any cookies in our, and if there are two labors, it provides a total of 90 cookies. Same with the 3, it provides 120, 4 like 140, and the 5 150. Excuse me. So here we see the change from here to here is 50, okay, means that from 0 to 1 we include one labor, this change is 50. And if from 1 to we increase to 2, the change is what? 40. And from 90 to 90 to 120, the change is 30 when we change from 2 to 3. So again from 120 to 40, the change is 20 when we include another labor from 3 to 4. In the last, when we include to the fifth labor, the change is 10. So this is actually talking about the total production, and this is the marginal product, this one which we have discussed. And we also see that this additional labor is contributing a lesser than the previous. This decline in the contribution of additional labor is known as diminishing marginal product. Okay guys, if we plot this whole information when we have a number of workers and total how much output we have produced, when we have 1 is 52, then we have a 93, we have a 120. See, so we have simply plotted this information on the graph. We see this is increasing with the decreasing rate. This incline with the decreasing rate is known as a diminishing marginal product. So this is about the production. So what does it mean by cost? Okay, so here we see that, for example, again we are continuing from the previous example, we have a zero labor. There are some costs which we have to pay whether we produce anything or not. So this is, for example, rent of any factory, so we have to pay 30 ringgits. So this 30 will be the fixed cost, which is defined here, which will no change. And this is the cost which varies as the number of workers increase. We can say the salary of the workers. So this will also increase as a constant rate, because we have to pay $10 each labor. But when we sum these costs, which is known as the total cost, 3 and plus 0 is 3, and the 3 plus you know 10 sorry 30 plus 10 equals to 40. So if we see that because this is the fixed cost, but if we hire 5 labor, so what we have to pay is 30 plus 50 equals to 80. Okay, so again we see that the total cost is changing, like additional 10 unit, but this is fixed cost. Now if we plot this whole information on graph, make sure you should remember this example of our output. Okay, you should know these are the total output, which is from 0 to 150. So in the x-axis we have total output, quantity of output. Okay, and this is our total cost. And when we plot it, like when we have a 50, see, when we have a 50 labor output, then the cost is 40. When we have a 0, we have fixed cost, which is 30. So like that, if we have a 90 output, our cost is 50. See, here we have a 90. Okay, I'm talking about that. So here we see the cost is increasing exponentially, not like our production function was increasing like that, increasing with a decreasing rate, but this is reverse, it's increasing exponentially. Okay, so fixed cost by definition is the cost do not vary with the quantity of output product. Okay, and but the variable cost is the cost which varies. Total cost is simply is the sum of the fixed cost and the variable cost. More terminologies which we should know, uh, because otherwise our next lectures will be difficult to be understood. So those are total average total cost, which is defined here, which is the total cost divided by quantity. We can mathematically we can write this. Average fixed cost is the fixed cost divided by quantity. Mathematically we can like it write it like this. Average variable cost is the variable cost divided by quantity, and marginal cost is the change in total cost divided by this change in quantity. And mathematically this is I'm sure everyone know that this is the sign of change. So marginal cost is change in total cost divided by change in quantity. So I hope you learn from these terminologies and basics of the market structure, because our next lecture it is totally depends on these terminologies and concepts. So thank you so much everyone watching this video, and please subscribe this channel, because in this channel we will cover all the topics related to the economics, which is whether it's micro or macro, even though later on I will cover econometrics.